Hey, good morning everybody. Today I want to talk to you about pandas. I think pandas are pretty interesting because evolutionarily, I don't think they should exist. I'm going to try and tell you why. First of all though, let's look at a little bit of the background of pandas. Okay, the word panda probably comes from the Nepali word ponyo. Ponyo, it actually refers to the lesser panda, the red and white one, which is not actually related to the bigger panda, but the name kind of stuck. We in the West, I'm from England, didn't know about pandas until 1869. We obviously don't have them in England. In 1869, a French missionary traveled to China and he came back to France with stories of these big pandas. And since then, we've known about pandas in the West. Now, pandas, as you probably know, are basically small bears. They grow up to, the highest bears grow up to about 1.9 meters in length, about 1.2 meters in height, and they can get up to about 160 kilograms, the biggest ones. They live for about 20 years in the wild, or about 30 years in captivity. They're black and white, obviously. Do you know why? Well, it's camouflage. The areas they live in get a lot of snow, and snow is obviously white, and the rocks or the shadow between the trees or the bamboo plants is dark brown or black. So black and white gives them perfect camouflage for the snow, for the conditions, for the areas they live in. They have 6 fingers on each hand. You and I, we have 5, well, 4 fingers and a thumb. A panda has 5 fingers, and down here on the edge of their hand, of their palm, they have another finger. And that is almost like a thumb. It's basically a small piece of bone that they can bend. And that bone is used to hold bamboo. If you look at a panda holding bamboo, it's using 5 fingers on top and the little thumb around the side to grip the bamboo properly. Now, why did I say that pandas shouldn't be able to survive evolutionarily? Well, this is my opinion, but pandas are related to bears. And bears, as we all know, are carnivores. Now we have 3 categories here. We have carnivores, herbivores, omnivores. Carnivores are animals like lions or bears. They eat meat. Herbivores are animals like rabbits or sheep who eat grass or leaves. And then we have omnivores. You and I are omnivores. We can eat anything. Now pandas, being related to bears, are carnivores. That means they should eat meat. Do they? No. What do pandas eat? They eat bamboo. They have to eat up to 20 kilograms of bamboo every single day. Why is that? It's because carnivores and herbivores have different digestive systems. Carnivores' digestive system, their intestines are much shorter than a herbivore. That's because it takes much longer to absorb the nutrients from plants as it does from meat. Carnivores need shorter intestines because we get the nutrients out of the food pretty quickly. Herbivores take much longer. Pandas, being carnivores, have short digestive tracts. However, eating bamboo, they need long digestive tracts. It takes a long time to get the nutrients out of the bamboo. Bamboo, incidentally, doesn't actually have that many nutrients in it to start with, so it's a poor choice of food. So now the pandas, because the food goes through them very, very quickly, they only get 17% of the nutrients out of each piece of bamboo they're eating. So to compensate for that, they have to eat 20 kilograms of bamboo a day. Plus, they excrete about 40 times a day. Can you imagine going to the toilet 40 times a day? Wow, incredible. Anyway, so pandas have adapted to this diet. They've done a few things. Firstly, if you look at a panda, they have round faces. That is because their jaw muscles are enormous. Have you ever tried to chew bamboo? Have you ever tried to chew raw bamboo? It takes a lot of strength to chew up all that plant. So they have very, very large jaw muscles and very, very round faces. Now, because they don't get much energy out of the food they eat, they have to spend almost all of the day looking for food and eating food. That means they cannot waste any energy. So pandas actually have small surface area related to their body size. What this does is it means they don't release much heat. Heat loss is a waste of energy. Another thing they do is they don't move much. Have you seen pandas at the zoo? Have you seen wild pandas? They basically find a bamboo plant and they sit there. They don't move. Because any movement is wasted energy. And pandas don't have enough energy to waste. So basically, pandas have become couch potatoes. They sit in one place, they eat and they sleep, and they don't waste any energy. Evolutionarily, they shouldn't survive, but they do. Now, as you probably know, pandas were an endangered species for quite a long time. They're still at risk, but they're not quite as endangered as other animals. Pandas have become the face of endangered animals. The World Wildlife Fund, WWF, uses a panda as its icon, its mascot. So when we think of endangered animals, we automatically think of pandas. However, pandas are not so endangered anymore, but pandas do receive a large percentage of monetary donations towards wildlife every year. Most of the money we're giving to help animals is being directed towards pandas. Pandas don't need it anymore. We need to start looking towards some of the other animals that are endangered and some of the other animals that are in danger of dying out. Anyway, pandas are amazing animals simply because I don't think they should be able to exist, but they do. Thank you.